Welcome to my stories. I'm Voices and Voses. On this channel, we'll explore the power of learning languages through stories. Learning a new language is not just about words, it's about understanding cultures and perspectives. Stories make this journey more engaging and memorable. If you're ready, let's jump in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and let's connect in the comments to make these stories even better.
The sky was cloudy. Or maybe it wasn't. The sky, the concrete buildings, the sidewalk stones, they all looked the same shade of grey to him. The sounds of the city felt far away, blurry and unclear. He took a deep breath. He looked up at the sky, but the heavy feeling inside him didn't go away. Applications, rejections. Today was the same. He put his hands in his pockets and kept walking. He didn't care where he was going. It didn't matter. After some time, he arrived at the bus stop without even looking at the street signs. Even the headlights of passing cars looked pale. There were a few people at the stop. Their faces were the same, blurred, expressionless. No one was talking. Jacob held his hands together and looked down. Something felt strange, but he didn't know what. Was it always like this? Was the city always this? Colourless. When the bus arrived, he stepped inside and sat at the very back. He looked out the window, but the passing streets, buildings and signs all looked the same. It was like being on a movie set, where the same scene played again and again. When he got home, he turned the key in the lock and went inside. The apartment was silent. He turned on the TV, but nothing was interesting. He went to the kitchen, but he didn't feel like cooking. He lay on his bed, but he wasn't sleepy. He didn't know how time passed. It just did, and every day was the same as the one before. Jacob woke up before his alarm, not because he was excited, just because his body didn't fight to sleep anymore. His mind was already used to the routine. 7 o'clock a.m. His phone buzzed. The same alarm, the same quiet vibration. Jacob swiped the screen and turned it off. He looked at the ceiling for a few seconds. Silence. Then he took a deep breath and got out of bed. In the kitchen, he pressed the coffee machine. The smell of coffee filled the air, but Jacob felt nothing. He took the same cup, like every morning. He put 2 slices of bread in the toaster. While waiting, he looked at his phone. No new messages, no new things. Outside, the air was cool, but Jacob did not feel cold or warm. He walked to the bus stop. He did not look at people's faces. The bus arrived. He sat at the back and looked outside. Trees, cars, signs. They all looked grey. Today was the same as every other day, but in the afternoon, his phone rang. At first, Jacob didn't look. Maybe it was a bank notification or a spam call. But then he saw the number, a new number. He hesitated, then answered. "Hello?" A voice spoke. It was formal, but warm. "Hello. Am I speaking with Jacob Dunn?" Jacob sat up straight. "Yes, this is Jacob. This is Amy Carter from Wanderlust Travel Agency. We checked your job application, and we would like to invite you for an interview. Is tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. okay for you?" Jacob blinked. One of the companies he applied to. Which one? What did he write? He didn't even remember, but it didn't matter. This was a chance. Yes, it's okay, Amy smiled. Great. See you tomorrow. I will send you the address by email. The call ended. Jacob sat there, holding his phone. He felt something inside. It was not big excitement, maybe not even hope, but it was something. For the first time in a long time, he thought that tomorrow might be different from today. Jacob woke up early in the morning, but didn't want to get out of bed. He stared at the ceiling for a few minutes. There was no excitement inside him, no expectation. He just knew he had to go. He slowly got up, made his coffee, and ate his toast. He fixed his hair while looking in the mirror, but it was a quick fix. He put on a clean shirt and jacket, just to look appropriate for the interview. When he got on the bus, he looked out the window. The city was still grey. People were still rushing. Was today different? Was there really something changed? He wasn't so sure. He arrived at Wanderlust Travel Agency building at 9:45. He took a deep breath and walked inside. The lobby was bright and modern. The receptionist looked at him with a smile. Hello, how can I help you? I'm Jacob Dunn. I have an interview at 10 o'clock. The woman nodded. Sure, please wait. They'll call you shortly. Jacob sat down and looked around. There were big photos on the walls of holiday destinations. Blue seas, green mountains, happy people. The happiness in those photos felt so far from him. A few minutes later, the door opened and a young woman walked toward him, smiling. Mr. Dunn, I'm Amy Carter. It's nice to meet you. Please come in. Jacob took a deep breath inside and followed Amy. The room was tidy, with a large desk, a few chairs, and a huge world map on the wall. Amy sat down and gestured for Jacob to sit. First of all, thank you for your application. We'd like to get to know you better. Could you tell us a little about yourself? Jacob cleared his throat. He didn't even remember how many times he had answered this question. He was tired of repeating the same words, but he had to. Sure, I studied business at university. After graduating, I worked in customer service and sales. In recent years, I've become interested in the tourism industry. Even as he said the last sentence, he felt empty. Did he really care about tourism? No. But he couldn't say that. Amy nodded and wrote something down. How would you evaluate yourself in terms of communication with customers? Jacob shrugged lightly. I'm used to talking to people. I'm patient, and customer satisfaction is important. His voice didn't sound very lively, but Amy didn't seem to notice. Sometimes customers can be difficult. How do you feel under pressure? Jacob smiled slightly, but felt nothing inside. I'm used to it. I focus on solving problems. Amy nodded approvingly. Great. Honestly, we would like to have you in our team, Jacob. Jacob lifted his head. This was the sentence he had been expecting, but there was no spark inside him. Amy continued. We're offering you the position of customer representative to start. If you accept, you can begin next Monday. Jacob thought for a moment. Did he really want this job? No. But did he have any other alternatives? No. Again, rent, bills, grocery expenses. He needed a job to survive, so, with a slight smile, he nodded. "Yes, I accept." Amy extended her hand. "Then welcome to our team." Jacob shook her hand. The same feeling of being stuck was still inside him. But at least he would have enough salary to get by for a few more months. Maybe everything wasn't perfect, but at least he would continue surviving today. Jacob started his new job. He worked at a travel company. His job was simple. Sit at a computer, answer emails, give information about tour packages, and sometimes talk on the phone. The company sold exotic vacations, cultural trips, and adventure tours. The advertisements were colorful. In the pictures, people were happy. They smiled, swam in the sea under the sun, or visited historical places. But Jacob only looked at these pictures all day and talked about the tours. He felt nothing. Every morning he entered the office and turned on his computer. He checked the emails one by one. "Hello? Can I get information about the Italy tour? Is breakfast included in this tour? We are going on our honeymoon. Which country do you recommend?" Jacob copied and pasted the answers. He didn't care what he wrote, because he always wrote the same things. In the afternoon, the phones started ringing. People were excited. "Hello, I want to know more about the Paris tour. Can we really go to the top of the Eiffel Tower?" Jacob sighed and answered, "Yes, it's included in the ticket price." Sometimes customers talked for a long time. "We are thinking about going to Bali, but we don't like Asian food very much. Do you think it's a good idea?" Jacob said. "Yes, you can find Western food everywhere." But he had no thoughts in his mind. The customers were excited. These holidays were important for them. But for Jacob, they were just a few words on a screen. At lunchtime, he usually sat alone. He bought a sandwich and looked at his phone. But nothing was interesting on social media. Everyone was posting something. People on vacation, having fun with friends, trying new things. Jacob just kept scrolling. At 6:00 p.m., he turned off his computer. He got up, put on his jacket, and left the office. He took the bus in front of the company and went home. Every day was the same. Jacob didn't even know if he liked this job. But he had no other choice. Jacob's mornings were always the same. His alarm rang at 7:00 a.m. He took his phone, turned off the alarm, and looked at the ceiling for a few seconds. Nothing moved in the room. Silence. Then he took a deep breath and got out of bed. In the kitchen, he pressed the coffee machine. The smell of coffee filled the air, but Jacob felt nothing. He took the same cup as every morning. He put 2 slices of bread in the toaster. While waiting, he looked at his phone. No new messages. No new things. Outside, the air was cool, but he did not feel cold or warm. He walked to the bus stop. He did not look at people's faces. The bus arrived. He got in and sat by the window. He looked outside, but nothing was interesting. Trees, cars, signs. They all looked grey. At the office, nobody said good morning to him. He also did not say good morning. He sat at his desk and turned on his computer. Emails appeared on the screen. Hello. Is there a discount for the Rome tour? I want to go to the Maldives with my family. Do you have hotels for children? Is there an extra fee for this tour? Jacob typed answers. Most of the time, he wrote the same things. His fingers moved automatically. Yes, breakfast is included. No, there is no extra fee. Yes, there are hotels for children. The phone rang. Jacob answered. The voice was excited. Hello. Can you give me information about diving tours in Indonesia? Jacob read the information on the screen. Yes. In this tour, you can dive for 5 days. Professional guides will be with you. Great. I can't wait to explore the underwater world, the customer said. Jacob stopped for a moment. Explore. This word felt strange to him. He had not explored anything in years. He never tried a new street or a new cafe. Every day was the same. The same bus, the same job, the same coffee. At lunch, he took a sandwich from the vending machine. Other workers sat together and talked. They laughed. Jacob sat at the table in the corner. He looked at his phone. Time moved fast, but he did not feel it. At 6:00 p.m., he turned off his computer, put on his jacket, and left. He took the bus. The street lights turned on. The colors of the city were disappearing. At home, he took out his keys, opened the door, and went inside. He took off his shoes and drank a glass of water. He turned on the TV, but the channel did not matter. He was not really watching. Jacob's life was not like a book. There were no surprises, no excitement. The pages turned, but the story did not move. Jacob looked out of the big office windows. People walked on the sidewalk across the street. They had coffee cups, phones, shopping bags. Their faces showed emotions. Hurry, happiness, worry, excitement. He watched them and thought about his own face. When was the last time he really looked in a mirror? He frowned and checked his reflection on his phone screen. It looked pale, almost blurry. It was lunch break, but he wasn't hungry. He had bought a sandwich, but he was just holding it. The edges of the bread were a little dry. He looked at it, thinking if he should take a bite or not. Eating, drinking water, sleeping, these were just habits. He didn't even know if he was really hungry. The days were passing in the same way. The same bus in the morning, the same corridors, the sound of the computer turning on, hundreds of unread emails. Hello, I want to ask about the Greek Islands tour. What is the cancellation policy for this trip? Can we really see the northern lights? Questions, answers, copy, paste, send. Everything felt like a big machine. He was a small part inside it, turning smoothly, fitting perfectly, but going nowhere. That afternoon, Jacob searched for something on his computer. Maybe he could take one of the tours the company sold. Maybe he could go somewhere. But where? He opened a world map. His finger moved across the screen. He looked at the blue waters of the Mediterranean, the cities of Europe. Then, to the north, Iceland, a cold, quiet, windy country. Volcanoes, glaciers, endless roads. Jacob stopped for a moment. He probably wouldn't go there. But the thought felt strange and good. He wrote a small note in the corner of his screen. Save money for Iceland. It was a silly idea, but sometimes people needed silly things.